KBN. Tune in to Kyle, Brust, and Nortman every day from 2 to 5. WKTI and WKTI HD Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
Biggest rivalry in the state.
It is Marquette against Wisconsin.
Takes center stage.
As a player, you got to love this game. You got to love the energy that this is going to bring. You got to love this.
Especially if you're from Wisconsin. Under the basket, wild pass. Another turnover. Marquette comes the other way with Sean Jones. He's got Kolek, wide open three. Kolek, good, oh baby.
This is Marquette, Wisconsin College Game Day.
Bruzewicz to midcourt. Brust has it. Lets it go.
Now broadcasting live from Broken Bat Brewery in Milwaukee. Here's Bryan Dee.
Who snuck that Ben Brust highlight in that open? Happy Saturday, everybody. For the first time since 2011, we have a ranked matchup between the Marquette Golden Eagles and the Wiscosnin Badgers. Welcome into Marquette, Wisconsin College Game Day. Welcome into Broken Bat Brewery in the 3rd Ward. Hanging out with me, I feel like I'm moderating an episode of Crossfire here. On my left, representing the Marquette Golden Eagles, is Matt Yeazel of ESPN Milwaukee. On my right, Alex Gravatt from ESPN Madison, representing the Badgers. Morning, boys. Happy Saturday. How we doing?
I'm good. It sounds like we both got less sleep than you did, Brian, last night.
So you got here to Broken Bat Brewery in the 3rd Ward. By the way, fabulous place representing Marquette. They've got $5 Ring Out Ahoyas. If you're watching us on the ESPN Milwaukee and ESPN Madison YouTube pages, $5 Marquette-themed beers all day today. They open up early at 11 o'clock, so pop by this morning, hang out with us, have a beer before heading over to Fiserv Forum. But you were asking what everybody was up to last night, and I was at home with my wife watching a Christmas movie, being mature, being a 32-year-old millennial, knowing I had to work this morning. Matt Yeazel works here at Broken Bat, so he closed last night. He was bartending and slanging beers until what time?
We closed at 10.
Okay.
So, we had a good crowd last night, so we went a little later. You know, we're for the people, Brian. But I had to sweep it up, make sure we had everything nice and tidy for this morning.
But I just realized I was remiss in my duties in asking what Alex G did last night in Madison. Right. What were you up to? It sounds like you were out late.
Yeah, so I'm a professional ultimate frisbee player in Madison.
Cool.
I play for the Madison Radicals, and there was late night pickup that a bunch of the guys go to, and so we all just went to one of the indoor turf fields in Madison, and that goes from 10:30 to 11:30. It's about 25 minutes from my home, so I didn't get home till midnight. And then my girlfriend was in Chicago for her cousin's choir concert, and so she didn't get back home until 1:30. So it was a little bit later of a night for me.
I think the key word in that entire story you just told is indoor for ultimate frisbee, dude. If I was playing outdoor ultimate frisbee in these temps, I feel like ultimate frisbee is like golf for me. If it's lower than 50, I'm not flirting with it.
So the region we're in is considered the Mid-Central, and it is it gets real cold for those games. It certainly does.
Well, we're warm inside Broken Bat this morning, and it's going to be hot inside Fiserv Forum at 12:30 this afternoon as the number 5 ranked Marquette Golden Eagles take on the number 11 Wisconsin Badgers. And this has become a topic of conversation around the ESPN Milwaukee offices this week. I'm sure it's been the same in Madison. About the level of rivalry here. And this comes up every year in early December when we get this great game, whether it's in Milwaukee or in Madison. Is this a rivalry? And I have always believed, as a Marquette alum myself, that this is a rivalry. It should be treated as such. It should be treated seriously. And Matt can talk to this as well as a Marquette alum. It feels like the first day you show up on campus at Marquette, it's here's your dorm keys, here's where the food halls are, here's the map to get to your classes, and oh, by the way, turn in anything red you have in your bag, because that doesn't fly here at Marquette University. Matt, can you speak to that?
Yes, I'll never forget my freshman year, the first Marquette hosted the game that year here in Milwaukee, and I'll never forget sitting in the student section and watching security. That's the first year of Fiserv Forum, by the way. Watching security escort people out of the student section that were wearing Badger gear.
Yeah.
I mean, because, look, I am the rare breed that is from Madison and chose to go to Marquette and now proudly roots for the Golden Eagles. And I'm sure there are other people around the state of Wisconsin that go to Marquette. They grow up Badger fans. And, maybe it takes them a little bit to convert over to the Golden Eagle way and the Shaka Smart culture now. But I'll never forget that. It is You can't wear red in the student section. You know, there are Badger fans throughout the building, and Fiserv Forum. They'll make the trip from Madison, but it means more here at Marquette, I think, which is ultimately what this rivalry comes down to.
I think it's because it's ingrained in who we are from the jump. I get the impression, Alex, it's different on the Madison side of things.
Yeah. No one talks about Marquette until this game. We're not like dying to take care of business there. Did you grow up a Badger fan?
Yes, yeah.
And you just did, like, got indoctrinated?
By Marquette, yes.
Oh, my gosh.
So you show up and those colors just don't mesh anymore. And my problem with this whole argument, guys, and I agree with you, Alex, like it doesn't feel as passionate on the Badgers side of things. I think there's a couple of reasons for that. Number one, Marquette doesn't have football, right? Mm-hmm. And football is always going to be king in Madison, and basketball is, you know, whether you want to admit it or not, is going to take a second seat at Wisconsin, I believe. I think the other thing that comes into play here is some high school bully energy, is the way I like to phrase it, where this game only really matters to Wisconsin on days like today when they have something to gain, right? Like, or last year at the Kohl Center when Wisconsin went in there and knocked off the number 3 ranked at the time Marquette Golden Eagles and stormed the floor, right? So it only matters to Wisconsin when they've got something to gain, and that seems to bother me a little bit. It gives me some high school bully, I'm going to steal your lunch money type of energy.
I think that's true in that there's really, like, it's Big East versus Big Ten. Like, there's no real reason for this game to matter, but we go in and we go through it. But it's the Battle of Wisconsin. And so for Badgers fans who own the state of Wisconsin primarily because of football, like if you don't care about college basketball, you like football a little bit, all of a sudden you're like, oh, okay, we've got, you know, Ben Brust shooting threes and Sam Kaminsky just being a big man. Like
Frank Kaminsky.
Frank Kaminsky being a big man. Like, you know, you've got those things going on, and you just kind of happen to become a Badger basketball fan. But growing up in Plymouth, Wisconsin, which we talked about quite a bit before the show for some reason, I liked both teams. I remember writing in my sports column, Sports with Alex Gravatt, that's SWAG, through high school about both teams because I just wanted to follow and report on both.
That's my theory about this rivalry is I think when Badger fans – or the Badger fans that say, oh, like I root for both teams or I don't think it's that big of a rivalry. I feel like most of those people didn't go to Wisconsin.
Sure.
They're from whatever corner of the state they're not invested in this rivalry. I don't think if you ask a current Badger student, they're not going to say, or really anybody that was in the Kohl Center last year when number 3 Marquette comes down, and sure, to your point, they're the number 3 team in the country, but there's more juice to that because it's Marquette. I think the Badger fans that went to the school, they get invested in it and they want to, because look, a lot of people in this state, they are picking between Wisconsin and Marquette to go to school academically, right? Obviously, they're very different schools, but, you know, the Badger fans want to, I think, show that, you know, they made the right choice. They're the bigger school. They're the big brother. They always say little brother for Marquette, and I don't even mind that because it honestly kind of makes sense school population-wise. What I mind is the Badger fans from, no offense, Plymouth or wherever else that are just like, oh, we don't care about that team from Milwaukee. I hope they do well in the tournament, whatever. It's like, come on.
Do you view today's game and this game every year as a serious rivalry? 800-990-3776 is your phone number to get in. You can tweet at us as well at ESPN Milwaukee and ESPN Madison as you watch along in every corner of this state. Brad Nortman of Kyle Brust and Nortman, KBN across ESPN Wisconsin, said something interesting to me in their pre-show meeting yesterday about this rivalry that as Brad always seems to have this perspective, was one of the most intelligent things I've heard about this rivalry in this conversation we're saying, guys. He said there's no stakes. And the only stakes in this game are bragging rights every year, which is not necessarily enough to make it feel heated, right? Like, even if Marquette loses today, they've still got a ton of runway to have an unbelievable season. Even if Wisconsin loses today, same deal. They could still be a Final Four team, and this game really has no serious impact on the outcome of their season. So I think there need to be more stakes attached to the rivalry for folks to really feel passionate about it. It's the first time I'd really heard that argument from Brad Nortman, and I think the stakes come from one of two things, and I want to pitch you on an idea here. The first thing would be obvious, these two teams meeting in the NCAA tournament, right? If that happens and one team ended the other team's season in the tournament, this thing would go kaboom.
It would never be forgotten.
It would never be forgotten. So I'm pulling for that. I'm rooting for that because it would be great for this state. The second thing is contriving stakes. What did Wisconsin and Minnesota play for last weekend at Camp Randall?
The Axe, of course.
I think this thing needs a trophy.
Yes.
There we go.
I think this thing needs a trophy that spends time in Madison or in Milwaukee, and our fans can help us brainstorm and concoct some ideas for what that trophy should be.
It's a great idea.
I like the idea. I do worry. We had this conversation on Rutledge and Hamilton, which you can hear in Madison from 4 to 6 the other day. I filled in for Jim, Matt, and Molly. I filled in for Matt Hamilton. And the problem with that is in the Big Ten, there's like 19 trophy games, and at a certain point we don't even know who there's the train you don't want it to become something worthless. So how do we make it actively visible, right? Is the town of Madison flying Marquette Golden Eagle flags throughout the town?
I think it's got to be something that, like, unfortunately, Minnesota did at Camp Randall last weekend. You grab after the game and you fake chop down the goalpost, right? It's got to be something that's actively visible. I would say this. I'm going to lob this up as a first idea. We should get a big-ass bell. I want a giant bell that each team gets to ring or hit before every game, and it becomes a part of the arena experience, and you could paint it your school's colors while you keep it, but you got to ship it back if you lose. I subscribe a huge bell to be the prize for Marquette versus Wisconsin. It doesn't feel inherently Wisconsin, so I'm open to other ideas. Maybe a giant beer mug that we get to put up on campus. I'm open to any ideas, but I do think we need to create some stakes here for this rivalry game.
Well, I like the way you're thinking of making it unique in the arena atmosphere, because it makes it, look, Fiserv's going to be jumping today. The Kohl Center is always jumping when Marquette comes to town, but to make it, like you said, when Wisconsin plays Minnesota, you always see the axe. You see the trophy on the field. Those fans get to experience that. So anything that makes this matchup stand apart, I'm all for.
800-990-3776, the phone number to get in. Is this a rivalry? Do you feel the juice every year between Marquette and Wisconsin? And what should the trophy be? We need some stakes for this game. Is it an axe? Is it a beer mug? Is it a bell? Hit us with your ideas on the phones and on Twitter. We are with you until noon today when on 94.5 ESPN, Gabe Neitzel will take over with your Marquette Network pregame coverage. Homer and Tony Smith on the call of Golden Eagles Badgers at 12:30 this afternoon. Coming up next, the most divisive shirt in Wisconsin, and does Shaka Smart have a Wisconsin Badger problem? That is next. This is Marquette, Wisconsin College Game Day.
More hoops talk coming up on ESPN Wisconsin. This is Marquette, Wisconsin College Game Day. What happens when you mix a 3-time Wisconsin Sports Writer of the Year with a Packers Hall of Famer?
I'm not going to get into the Kringle turnover game, so that's what it needs to be. I think his legs. Yeah.
Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
Like the pastry
Are you guys
turnovers.
being serious? You guys can't put two.
I got it. I did not get it.
They don't call themselves Racine Danish turnovers.
Sorry. Sometimes I wonder about you two, man.
Catch him from 9 to noon right here on 94.5 ESPN, the Wisconsin On Demand app, and at ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
Change your grocery game plan to locally owned Century Foods, home of the best meat, freshest produce, and tastiest treats.
And free groceries.
Okay, just calm down. We'll get to that later.
Stay tuned in right here to score free groceries.
Stop, please.
Okay, I'm shutting up. My lip is zipped.
Anyway, let's get to this week's specials at Century Foods.
Now through Wednesday, save on 24-pack Essential Everyday Purified Water, 2 for $6. 9.6 to 16.1 ounce selective varieties, Kellogg cereal, 2 for $7. 11 to 12 ounce or 10 count selective varieties, Starbucks coffee, $7.99. Gallon selective varieties, Prairie Farms white or chocolate milk, $3.99.
And now time for the big reveal. Free groceries.
That's too over the top. Try this. Win free groceries from Century Foods.
Win free groceries from Century Foods.
Forget it. I'll handle the rest. Enter to win $500 worth of free groceries on Century's Facebook or Instagram by January 8th.
Get the beat of the Bucks straight from a fan favorite and Bucks legend.
Welcome to the fantastic voyage. Marcus Johnson, the captain of this vessel.
Tap into Here District with Marcus Johnson, a Bucks Plus audio production.
My first mate, Chris Johnson, the only father and son tandem.
Your weekly pulse on the Milwaukee Bucks and conversations with the biggest names in basketball. This week on the podcast, Bucks radio host Justin Garcia hops on with Marcus and Chris. Find Here District now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, or wherever you get your podcast.
Have you seen them yet?
Seen what?
4 different ways to say I love you.
I'd love to see those. Show me the list.
What list?
The list of 4 different ways to say I love you.
Let's start over.
Where are you going, Monica?
I'm going to get the 4 different ways to say I love you.
Sarah, imagine a box of assorted chocolates.
Okay.
When you open the lid, what do you see?
I see a guy sitting on a park bench saying, life is like a box of chocolates.
But what are the shapes of the chocolates?
There are 4 different shapes.
Here they are.
Those are gorgeous.
4 diamond pendants covered in diamonds.
Almost like they were dipped in diamonds.
And each diamond was created inside a miniature star.
But you'd have to be rich to afford one of these.
Choose the diamond pendant you like best. $148.
I love Kessler's.
Everyone loves Kessler's.
For the location of the Kessler's nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
Ready to tackle your home improvement project this winter? Exterior Pros and Baths is here to help you score big with quality home exterior and shower upgrades. As a 5-time President's Club Award winner, Exterior Pros is not playing around. With flexible financing, it's never been easier to invest in your home without breaking the bank. Get started today and save $2,000. Visit extpros.com or call 262-800-4274. That's 262-800-4274. Trust the pros and kick off your home transformation today.
Gift giving is easy with an Island Resort and Casino gift card. Every person on your list can spend their time just the way they like it. Dining, going to a concert, relaxing at the Drift Spa, playing golf. No matter the reason, gift cards to the Midwest's premier resort destination are a sure bet. To order gift cards, stop by the Island Club today or call 877-ISL-SHOW. Then spread some joy because everyone knows your total experience is at the Island.
You're listening to Marquette, Wisconsin College Game Day on ESPN Wisconsin.
Inside, got it. 3.5 seconds to go. And the Wisconsin Badgers come to Milwaukee in an overtime takedown Marquette 80-77.
Yeah, the Badgers have had Marquette's number in Shaka Smart's tenure at Marquette University. This is College Game Day. Bryan Dee, Matt Yeazel, Alex Gravatt live from Broken Bat Brewery in the 3rd Ward. Come hang out with us. We are open. The beers are flowing. With you until noon. Tip-off between these two rival schools at 12:30. Is this a rivalry? That's where we let off this morning on College Game Day. I think we need to build in more stakes because regardless of outcome in this game, what we've come to find, boys, is teams can recover. Both of these teams can recover and have memorable, great seasons, even if they lose. We need to get a trophy. We need to get some real stakes, and we can't contrive this, we need them to meet in March Madness in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, that would obviously add the most. And I was trying to think if there was a time that had happened. I don't think there is. And just having the excitement and the passion about March Madness where everyone is locked in, people are watching the games, like it's on in all of your offices, that would be a really good way to build some passion in, and maybe even getting I don't condone fighting, I don't condone violence, but kind of that like Michigan, Wisconsin kind of thing like we saw last year where things get
scrap on the floor.
Contentious. Yeah, like I want to see people diving on the ball. I want to see people, bruised, maybe bloodied up a little bit, and like fighting for the win.
So it's interesting you bring that up because our good buddy Alex Strofe, who by the way it's his birthday today, happy birthday Strophy. Alex Strofe, the producer of KBN and host of Mr. Irrelevant on the ESPN Wisconsin YouTube pages, he had Coaches Week just before the tip-off of college basketball season. He did great interviews with Greg Gard, with Doug Gottlieb, with Bart Lundy, and with Shaka Smart. And he asked Shaka about this rivalry, and if he feels the heat and the hatred and the vitriol that should exist in a rivalry. Take a listen to what Shaka Smart said, on Coaches Week with Alex Strofe at the tip-off of college basketball season about this rivalry game.
You know, for us, obviously, it's been a game where you're playing against a really good team, and so in that moment, it's like you want to move forward and you want to go capture, what they call a quad one win in college basketball. They've gotten the better of us the last few times. When we get to that game, it'll certainly be, one that we're super excited about and want to pour everything we have into.
That is Shaka Smart on Coaches Week, and I think the interesting part of that quote, he went on to say, guys, that a lot of the guys that go to Marquette are not from the state of Wisconsin, so they don't grow up in this. They just see it and feel it from the fans. And they have to understand and learn across the course of 4 years that this does mean a lot to the people of this state. So I think what you just said, G, is spot on, that we need some of that hatred and vitriol between the players, but it's hard because a lot of these kids didn't grow up. John Tonje, the star player for the Wisconsin Badgers this year, he didn't grow up here. He's going to be here for 1 year, and then he's going to leave, hopefully, for the NBA from a Badgers perspective, right? So he doesn't have the depth of vitriol. He never will for this rivalry game in some ways because of the state of college basketball.
Well, with recent trends, it seems like any Wisconsin player who's got some talent is transferring out after 1 year. So it's going to be hard for them to develop a real vitriol for Marquette.
That's what I'm talking about. We need the little subtle digs in the show here. That's perfect.
There we go. And, Shaka did mention, got David Joplin, of course, from Brookfield Central. So you got to think he's a Milwaukee guy. He knows what it's like to welcome in the team from Madison and try to take them down. But again, like I mentioned earlier, this is an early December college basketball game. At the end of the day, both of these teams are concerned mostly about getting into conference play and having a good conference season, winning their conference, getting to the NCAA tournament. But with the situation it is, obviously, they're not going to play in the same conference, unfortunately, even though I'm sure that would be a lot of fun. Duke, North Carolina, that's how those rivalries come about. But so we got to do what we can to juice up this matchup, not just this year, we're spoiled as fans with this being a top 15 matchup. I think it's the first top 15 matchup ever between these teams. But most of the time, sometimes Marquette's going to get off to a hot start, like last year, and Wisconsin's going to be unranked. But, the matchup is so good on the court, you almost kind of throw the stats out most years, regardless of who's ranked higher and who's not. So I think we got to do what we can to make this, like you said, add more stakes to it and get more people invested.
Todd in College Station, Texas, texts into the show. 800-990-3776 is the ESPN Milwaukee talk and text line. And he compares this rivalry game to Texas A&M versus Texas, which obviously we don't have a lot of experience with. But from the outside, guys, for college football, it feels like Texas's main rival is Oklahoma, right? And they've got another in-state rival in Texas A&M. That would seem to make sense. But Todd says everything goes up in the air once the ball is kicked off. Kind of the same here, right? Yeah. We can tiptoe around, is this a rivalry, is this not? But when that ball tips off at 12:30 this afternoon, Fiserv Forum's going to be up for grabs, and there's going to be hatred and vitriol for that 2-hour period, and that's where the rivalry exists for
So I've got two things here. One, first, you're 100% right, and I do think that from the Wisconsin Badgers perspective, from an inside perspective, it is a rivalry in the same way the Packers and Bears are a rivalry, but not because it's super important or crazy historic, but because no matter who it is or when it is, the Badgers come into this game with the expectation, or at least of recent history, hey, it doesn't matter that we are statistically the worst team, that we're not going to make the same run in the postseason. We're going to go beat Marquette because that's who we are and that's what we do. And we hang our hat on that. That is something that, talking around the ESPN Wisconsin or ESPN Madison office, I give DJ Tiny Hands, Hunter Vaughn, a ton of crap because the Badgers win. He's chalked this game up to a loss. It doesn't matter what's going on just because it's Wisconsin. Yep. And I think that's fantastic. Also, Matt, you brought up earlier Duke UNC. My girlfriend is from the Durham area, right? So her mom works for UNC. Her dad works for Duke.
Electric.
It is a household divided. It's the first question they ask. People are all in on that. And because of that, because of the big names and the storylines that those games produce, people want to be a part of that. And we're losing in-state guys that, like Con Knippel, who played here in Wisconsin. He played in state championships. We covered them on ESPN Madison. We're missing out on guys like that because we don't have that fire here in Wisconsin, between Marquette and Wisconsin. And I think that we can do more just from a marketing aspect around it.
Absolutely, I agree. I think it might be underrated across the country, but I think people who really follow college basketball in this state, regardless of what city you're from, understand that we got two really good basketball programs year in and year out. Sure, we don't have like the national titles to back it up just yet. A couple teams have gotten close, but I think these two teams are too good, and the matchups consistently are too good for it to not be more recognized nationally. And like I said, like I think some people could fantasize about like if Marquette were in the Big Ten, but the Big Ten can't take any more teams right now.
Big 18.
Oregon is playing for a Big Ten championship today in football. I think you hit on something very important there, Alex, about this rivalry. The local connections and the local ties and the kids that grow up in it are really important here. And I think about the great Wisconsin-Marquette moments of the last 15 years, right? Vander Blue, Madison Memorial kid that decided to go to Marquette, right? And there was
following Wesley Matthews' footsteps.
Wesley Matthews' footsteps, right? There was tremendous anger and vitriol about that, right? The Hauser brothers leaving Marquette and flirting with Wisconsin for a little bit before ultimately ending up at Michigan State and Virginia. But there was a lot of nervous anxiety about, oh my God, are these kids going to spurn Marquette to go to Wisconsin? It was there. There's one big connection right now, locally, for this rivalry, and it's Shaka Smart. Shaka Smart grew up in Oregon, Wisconsin. He's a Madison guy. He came home to coach at Marquette, right? But he's in Milwaukee now. And I think if Shaka leans into this thing, and Shaka stays at Marquette like we hope he will for a long time, he could really be at the center of this going from a 4 or 5 rivalry to a 10 out of 10 rivalry. He's got the passion. He's got the excitement. I just wonder if he'll lean in a way to the vitriol and the excitement and the entertainment that we need in a rivalry. But he is at the core and the center of it right now, and I don't know if he's going to be able to be the spark that takes it from 5 to 10.
Well, we haven't seen it yet, but he's always acknowledged, that he grew up following Wisconsin and that, is part of what got him into the sport of basketball. And I think that's, important to talk about. And look, if, I think Marquette fans are clearly all in on Shaka Smart. Maybe they ignore the fact that he used to be a Badger fan, but I think that plays into this rivalry. I think Marquette is what Shaka Smart is. That's just kind of how college sports go. You take on the identity of your head coach. And I think Marquette, from a program perspective and a fan base perspective, is all in on Shaka Smart. But it's the one blip in his resume so far. And otherwise, ever since he came here, he has shattered all the expectations, but he hasn't beaten Wisconsin, and that's a big deal here.
Yeah, and again, I come from this as I'm a Badger fan. I went to school at UW-Wisconsin or UW-Madison. I'm a big fan of all things Wisconsin, but I also like Marquette. And I think until Luke Fickell came to Wisconsin, the biggest coaching hire in all of Wisconsin sports in my lifetime was Shaka Smart. Shaka Smart brought excitement, passion back to Marquette. People were really excited and it immediately made a difference. But maybe it's that kind of, Aaron Rodgers versus the 49ers. They're going to be sad that they didn't draft me and then goes 0 for 4 in the playoffs or whatever it is against him. That. There's a little bit of that. And does he have a Wisconsin problem? Well, he does till he doesn't.
So far, he does. The first year, it was Johnny Davis going off. The second year, it was Chucky Hepburn inside Fiserv Forum in a close loss. And last year, Max Klesmit goes scorched earth from the three-point line and knocks down Marquette at the Kohl Center. We'll see what happens today. That's Alex Gravatt. That's Matt Yeazel. I'm Bryan Dee. This is Marquette, Wisconsin College Game Day, live across ESPN Wisconsin from Broken Bat Brewery in the 3rd Ward. Stop by pregame. Have a ring out of Hoya. Maddie's got one in his hand right now. If you're watching on the YouTube streams, they're $5 all day. Stop by before and after the game. They're open early. They're open now. Come have a beer. Coming up next, a man that spent a day or two inside Broken Bat Brewery. He covers the Golden Eagles closer than anybody. It's Ben Steele of the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. He'll join us from inside Fiserv Forum. Coming up next, this is Marquette, Wisconsin College Game Day, live across ESPN Wisconsin, brought to you all season long by National Liquor Mart, Cousin Subs, and Marquette Athletics.
More hoops talk coming up on ESPN Wisconsin. This is Marquette, Wisconsin College Game Day.
ESPN Milwaukee's Jen Latta here. 'Tis the season for celebrating at St. Kate the Arts Hotel. Join them this holiday season for special events to get you in the festive mood. From a spectacular brunch with Santa to the holiday marketplace and one-of-a-kind dinner and a show experiences, St. Kate has a celebration happening nearly every week through the holiday season. Make a night of it and extend the experience by booking an overnight stay at St. Kate. Special packages are now available. Celebrate the holidays with St. Kate. Learn more by visiting stkatearts.com/holidays.
Kringle, all I want for Christmas is you.
Dad!
What?
We talked about this. Yeah, your jingle for your Kringle entry last year was so lame that Racine Danish Kringle banned you from their contest.
I thought it was only a one holiday season ban.
It was a lifetime ban.
Well, I guess I'm out, but here's how you can enter our ESPN Wisconsin Racine Danish Kringle Jingle for Your Kringle contest on Wilde and Tausch. Submit your own original jingle to ESPNWisconsinContest.com. Then we'll pick the most creative songs, and our grand prize winner will get Kringle for a year. Make sure you include Racine Danish Kringle. It's not just a treat, it's a tradition in your jingle. If you don't want to sing, but you still want to celebrate the holidays with Racine Danish Kringle, call 800-4DANISH or visit Kringle.com and order their all-new Eggnog Holiday Kringle.
Racine Danish Kringle, such a tasty, yummy treat. With a flaky crust and sweet icing, it's the best thing you can eat.
Oh, like that's so much better than mine.
Well, at least we're not off key.
It's the most wonderful time to bar crawl. Get ready for Milwaukee's 11th annual 12 Bars of Christmas on December 14th from noon to 5 p.m. 3 festive locations, Water Street, MLK Drive, and Brady Street, packed with holiday cheer. Your ticket includes a lanyard for food and drink specials, a holiday mug, and free entry at every stop, all while supporting Toys for Tots. Dust off your ugliest sweater, grab your friends, and join the city's biggest Christmas party. Tickets are limited, so don't wait. Head to 12bocwi.com to grab yours now. 21 plus only. Please drink responsibly.
Get ready for the moment we've all been waiting for. It's the 300K season finale giveaway at Potawatomi. Friday, December 20th, watch your entries from Bird Bash, Cash Clash, and Winter Stash. All pile into one massive drawing for a chance at up to 50 grand cash. Be there to win your share. December 20th, only at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. Learn more at paysbig.com/finale. Must be 21 years old to play.
Bengo made his list and checked it twice. Turns out Bucks fans are really nice. Slay the holidays with a limited time ticket offer that will land you at the top of Bengo's nice list. Score gifts for the Bucks fans in your life and treat yourself too. Holiday packages feature ticket codes to redeem now or use later, exclusive Bucks holiday items, and an e-gift card that can be used to eat, drink, and be merry at Pfizer Forum. Explore options at bucks.com/deal season.
Hi, this is John Neal, CPA, founder of Right Choice Tax Resolution and best-selling author on how to have less stress with the IRS. We have talked with a number of new clients who told us the same story. They had a tax situation and went with one of those national firms with the TV and radio ads. You know the ones. They guarantee they can settle your tax owed for pennies on the dollar. They take a $10,000 fee up front, and then you never hear from them again. We're a local firm and just want to help you resolve your situation so you can get on with your life. Don't let your bank account get wiped out, your paycheck or Social Security check get garnished, or a lien put on your house so you can't sell it or get refinanced. The state can even put a hold on your occupational license. What happens when the hospital finds out your nursing license is suspended or you can't sell insurance anymore? Make the right choice and call 844-222-1192 or visit rightchoicetax.us today. Schedule a free meeting so we can talk and come up with a solution to solve your situation now. If you wait, it will not go away. The first meeting is free.
This is Marquette, Wisconsin College Game Day on ESPN Wisconsin.
Marquette and Wisconsin both want to rule the world today. This is College Game Day live from Broken Bat Brewery in the 3rd Ward. Bryan Dee, Matt Yeazel, Alex Gravatt with you until noon today. The beers are flowing at Broken Bat ahead of number 5 Marquette, number 11 Wisconsin, tipping off at 12:30 on 94.5 ESPN in Milwaukee. Joining us now, a good buddy that covers the Golden Eagles closer than anybody. He is Ben Steele of the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. Good morning, Benny. How are you?
Hey, what's up, guys? I miss seeing you in person. I should have stopped by Broken Bat and got a couple of those Marquette Golden Ales before I shipped off to work.
Yeah, we got a couple Ring Out Ahoyas here. They're $5 all day. So once you submit your post-game story on deadline, Benny, you can pop by, and they got $5 beers, and I'll leave a tab open for you after this game.
Yeah, for any of my bosses, I was just kidding.
Yes, exactly. There you go. Yeah, Ben is now clear from any pregame culpability. Nicely done. Ben, I want to start with the injuries on the Marquette side of things today. In the last week, Zayd Lowry, the sophomore, went down with a knee injury. Mm-hmm. Chase Ross then went down early in Wednesday night's game at Iowa State, a loss from Marquette with an ankle. Any chance either of those guys played today? What have you heard from Shaka Smart?
No, as far as I know, Zayd is going to be out today. They're going to reevaluate him next week. He was limping around the other day, so I don't think there's any chance of him playing unless by some miracle he woke up today and was feeling better. Chase, it was a pretty bad ankle injury. He was like backpedaling on defense, turned it pretty good. He was in a lot of pain, and it's a quick turnaround. Although when I talked to Shaka Smart on Thursday night, about 24 hours after the injury, Shaka was a lot more optimistic about his recovery. So we'll see. I imagine they'll get to the arena here pretty soon. I'm sure he'll go through some stuff with the trainer. But, yeah, like I said, that's a quick turnaround. So he was in a lot of pain. Even if he tries to gut it out, I imagine he's going to be limited in some form if he does indeed try to play. And those are two big perimeter defenders for Marquette, especially going against a good backcourt, with John Tonje and John Placklow for Wisconsin. That's going to be something to watch.
Ben, obviously both teams coming in off a loss today. For Marquette, what were your takeaways from the Iowa State game? Obviously that was an opportunity for Marquette to get a big win. Yeah. Coming up short, Cam Jones struggling a little bit, which is rare to see so far this season. What were your main takeaways from that one?
Yeah, it was weird with Cam. He's been so efficient all season, and I think he missed a lot of shots that he usually makes against Iowa State. You can kind of credit Iowa State's defense. I mean, that's a top 10, top 5 defense in the nation at Iowa State. A tough environment, too. I'm sure that played a factor in. One of the biggest things I think Marquette wants to fix is their physicality on defense. They were kind of knocked back a little bit, especially in that first half against Iowa State. I think Iowa State kind of took it to them, and that was something that Shaka Smart talked about after the game, especially in regards to Demarius Owens and Royce Parham, the two Marquette freshmen. They played really well on offense. They kind of struggled on defense a little bit. And they're going to be counted on to play more now, especially Marquette's banged-up roster. Those two freshmen are going to be thrown into the fire here in this rivalry game. So I think that was the biggest thing I want to see from Marquette grow from that loss is kind of patch things up, get those freshmen more on the same page defensively as their veteran teammates.
I'll tell you what, and Ben Steele, the Journal-Sentinel, joins us here across ESPN Wisconsin. This is College Game Day. If Cam Jones' worst game is flirting with a triple-double, I will take that. I will take that all season long.
Ben, I know my name's Alex. We haven't met before. I'm not in on the Marquette side of things as much. I, like you, am a UW grad, or at least according to your LinkedIn that I've pulled up here. Now, I'm curious. Did you grow up a fan of Wisconsin? Were you a fan of Wisconsin through your time at Wisconsin?
No, I didn't grow up in Wisconsin. I kind of moved around a little bit and ended up my last year in high school in Minnesota. That's how I ended up going to college in Wisconsin. So I kind of learned about everything while I was going to school. I was there from 98 to 2002. So that was the heart of the Dick Bennett era, back when they were scoring 40 points a game. Wasn't the most exciting, brand of basketball. They did make the Final Four in 2000 when I was there, and I rushed down State Street with all the other fans. So that was my. I didn't loot any stores or anything. Again, for the record, for any.
Okay, good. You're very conscious, Ben, today of not getting yourself in trouble with your employer. This is interesting. Very good. No looted
it's
stores.
It's early in the day. I'm not trying to get canceled by 11 a.m.
Well, so Ben, it's interesting, and Ben Steele, the Journal Sentinel, covers the Marquette Golden Eagles. You can read his stuff, jsonline.com. Ben, you just mentioned you were at Wisconsin in the heart of the Dick Bennett era and scoring 40 points a game. This is a different Wisconsin team this year. They've been playing basketball since 1897, and this was the first year where they scored 75-plus points in their first 7 games of the year. Like, they just figured out offense is cool. How is that going to be a different challenge for Marquette today? Because for the first time in a while, it almost feels like strength against strength of a great Wisconsin offense and a great Marquette defense.
Yeah, I think like the biggest matchup is the battle of the backcourts, right? Especially with Marquette banged up. You know, I think one of the reasons Wisconsin's playing at such a higher pace is they got really good guards. You know, they got John Tonje and John Blackwell. Kamari McGee's been like awesome off the bench.
They've got Greg guard
knocking down threes, and Tonje's really good at getting to the basket and drawing fouls and scoring efficiently like that. So that's going to be, you know, Marquette can't get into foul trouble, especially in the backcourt with their lack of depth with the injuries. So, you know, Stevie Mitchell guarding John Tonje, I imagine he's going to get the first call assignment. Marquette switches a lot on defense, so that doesn't really mean that much, but that's going to be key. Marquette's got to stay out of foul trouble, not let those guys get to the free throw line for those easy baskets, and can't get in foul trouble themselves with their lack of depth.
And, Ben, we touched on it a little bit before you joined, just how the last 3 matchups Wisconsin's always had one guy really step up and go off. Last year, a bit of an anomaly for Max Klesmit just going off, particularly in the first half. Who do you think you have your eyes on? You mentioned some defensive struggles for Marquette in their last game, and obviously those injuries are a concern on that side of the floor. But who do you think the Marquette defense is going to have their sights set on the most for this Wisconsin team?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's John Tonje. Just he kind of makes the offense go. It's funny with these rivalry games. It's always just the most unexpected guys come in and have the biggest impact. So for the Marquette side of things, I would point to Demarius Owens as a guy that could kind of break out. He missed, you know, a couple games early in the season with a toe injury, so I don't know if people are quite as familiar with him, but he is, like, if you walked into a gym just watching Marquette practice, you would see him as, like, you know, 6'7", long arms, super athletic. You would point to him and say, you know, that's a basketball player. So I think he might have a pretty big impact on this game. You know, not just defensively guarding all those, you know, backcourt guys for Wisconsin, but offensively he could create some matchup problems for Wisconsin.
Now, both Wisconsin and Marquette are coming off of pretty tough physical losses with real big guys up under the hoop. I'm of the volition that I believe Wisconsin is going to come out and be better about being physical. They're a Big Ten team. They're used to this kind of play. Tell me why I'm wrong. Why is Marquette going to handle this physicality better?
You know, Marquette has always kind of, especially under Shaka Smart, really had preferred like the long, skinny, mobile big guys. I think the last couple of seasons, they've kind of, the coaching staff has kind of figured they needed a little bit of bulk down low, and I think that's why they brought in Keaton Hamilton, who redshirted last season. He's a freshman, you know, playing his first season this year, but he's more like a thick 6'9", solidly built guy. That's something that Marquette's not had a lot of under Shaka Smart. And if you watch that Iowa State game, he laid like a massive screen on an Iowa State guy, just laid a guy out. So that's not something you see typically the last couple of years for the Golden Eagles. So if it comes down to that, like, Marquette might need Caden Hamilton to come in and be one of those unsung heroes that not a lot of people are expecting a lot out of today.
Last thing for you, Ben. You've been watching this rivalry between Marquette and Wisconsin for 25 years. Which moment from this rivalry game sticks out the most in the last quarter century of basketball watching for you?
Oh man, that's a good question. I like the tense moments. You know, not that we condone violence over the airwaves here on ESPN radio, but you know, I think about Dominic James. I think it was Joe Krabenhoff. They got in each other's faces. You know, probably going on 15, 20 years of that one. I'm thinking of, like, off the top of my head, 2017 when Andrew Rousey pushed Aaron Mosh, and they were going back and forth a little bit. Nothing that goes over the top, but anything that just gets those juices going, that's what I'm a fan of.
All right, Ben, I said last thing, but Alex G's got one last thing for you.
So we're talking about how we need to get a little bit more juice, a little bit more energy, some excitement about this rivalry, and we're talking about a potential trophy game, right? Something to kind of get the fans involved. What if you could have anything be the trophy for Wisconsin Marquette, what would it be?
Yeah, I'm thinking like a bronze PBR can, that they pass back and forth.
The bronze PBR can that the college kids are drinking out. You know what? Bronze Broken Bat can. I think we can get Tim to sign off on that. I love that.
Yeah,
Ben,
I should have got the sponsor in there.
Oh, you're good. But no, the PBR can is perfectly motifed into the state of Wisconsin.
That's why you guys are the pros.
That's it. Ben, you enjoy the game today. We appreciate you as always, and we'll see you at Broken Bat afterward.
Awesome, man. Sounds good. Keep those beers cold for me.
Will do. That is Ben Steele of the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. He covers the Golden Eagles closer than anybody. Read his stuff always, jsonline.com, and follow him at Ben Steele. Steele is with an E. Coming up next, the last time Marquette won this rivalry game was a buzzer-beater tip-in during the COVID year from the fingertips of Justin Lewis. So in honor of that, we're going to do some tip-ins on the other side. This is Marquette, Wisconsin College Game Day, live from Broken Bat Brewery in the 3rd Ward, brought to you all season long by National Liquor Mart, Cousin Subs, and Marquette Athletics.
More hoops talk coming up on ESPN Wisconsin. This is Marquette, Wisconsin College Game Day. The Homer Hour with special guests every day from 5 to 6.
Right now, they'd be a toss-up with the herd.
People just don't know how funny mean you are.
Come on.
Well, I mean, that's mean, but it's funny, and the funny trumps the mean, and so you laugh.
But there might be some truth to that.
Of course there's some truth to it.
The Homer Hour with Homer. Weekdays from 5 to 6, right here on 94.5 ESPN and streaming live on YouTube.
Football fans, get ready to elevate your game day experience. Milwaukee Broadhouse downtown has the ultimate package for stress-free fun this football season. With rides starting at $85 per person, hop on their round-trip buses from Milwaukee Broadhouse downtown for every green and gold home game. Enjoy all you can drink on the ride and a private restroom. Want even more? Upgrade your ticket and add on an all-you-can-eat and drink tailgate package for an additional $30. Spots are filling up fast. Book today at MilwaukeeBroadhouse.com. Milwaukee Broadhouse, located on MLK Drive downtown.
Expand your tool set with professional power tools from Menards. Metabo represents the gold standard in cordless power tools. Whether you're at home or on the job site, tackle any building project with Metabo power tools. Plus, power tools make great gifts. Metabo cordless drills provide the power and function to make your next job more productive. Pick one up today for just $99 at Menards. Sale price good through December 8th.
More season's greetings to you all from Menards.
Experience the excellence of Catholic Memorial High School for yourself. Come see why their students gain a competitive edge at CMH. Visit CatholicMemorial.net to schedule a VIP tour or student shadow day. Meet their inspiring teachers, welcoming students, and feel the energy of the CMH culture. All students achieve more than they ever imagined possible. Visit CatholicMemorial.net to schedule your visit. That's CatholicMemorial.net. Catholic Memorial High School in Waukesha, where you rise.
Who doesn't love diamonds? Hey, it's Ben Brust from Kyle Brust & Ortman on ESPN Wisconsin. I know my fiance loves diamonds as evidenced from the natural diamond engagement ring I bought her at Robert Hack Diamonds. But did you know Robert Hack Diamonds also has access to thousands of lab-grown diamonds? Any shape, any size, stop in at Robert Hack Diamonds location and mention ESPN for a pair of high color and clarity 2-carat total weight lab-grown diamond studs for $6.99. Yes, $6.99 for a 2-carat total weight diamond stud. Want 4-carat total weight? Robert Hack Diamonds has you covered there too. Now is the time where you can see the deals from all sorts of jewelry stores, but before buying, make sure you call Robert Hack Diamonds. They will crush, and I mean crush, the deal you found. They want your business, and they have already earned mine. Remember, 2-carat total weight lab-grown diamond studs for just $6.99, and all you have to do is mention ESPN on your next trip to one of their 2 Robert Hack Diamond stores. Learn about all they do at roberthackdiamonds.com.
Stupid stairs. Urgh.
Mike, I thought we were going to remodel and put our master bedroom on the first floor. We're getting old, you know.
I know I usually come up with some excuse to avoid home improvements, but I guess that would make sense. We do it for our own customers all the time, so maybe we should now too.
Whether you're making your empty nest more accessible or creating the house of your dreams, call Professional Construction Inc., your go-to contractor for 20 years.
Green and gold fans, it's game day. And you know what that means. Tailgating with friends and raising a glass to our favorite team. This season, make Bacardi the star of your pregame party. Whether you're mixing up a classic Bacardi and cola, refreshing Bacardi lime and soda, or a smooth spiced and cola, Bacardi is the perfect pick for game day fun. Grab a bottle and get ready to cheer on Green Bay with the best in hand. Available now at your local retailer. Live passionately, drink responsibly. Bacardi USA, Miami, Florida. Rum 40% alcohol by volume.
You're listening to Marquette, Wisconsin College Game Day on ESPN Wisconsin.
Save the back ball. Now Wall for three. Oh, what a sequence! Latana Wall.
Is there anything better than Bill Raftery's voice on the call? A couple of things. Number one, us three knuckleheads live from Broken Bat Brewery. Woo! Bryan Dee, Alex G, Matt Yeazel. But also,
beer's flowing.
Beers are flowing at Broken Bat for sure. But also Homer and Tony on the call. 94.5 ESPN coming up at 12:30. Marquette, Wisconsin. Renew the rivalry. First time since 2011. These teams are meeting, both ranked in the top 25. Marquette's over their last three against Wisconsin. Shaka Smart winless against his hometown team. The last victory was a Wojo win with a Justin Lewis tip-in at the buzzer. Nobody there to celebrate because it was in December of 2020 in an empty Fiserv Forum. In honor of that tip-in, producer Will Summers is going to take us through some tip-ins, some quick hitters for today's rivalry game.
You're gonna play the game, boy. You gotta learn to play it right. You got to know when to hold up, know when to fold.
All right, Will.
Fellas.
Let's start, buddy.
Time for some tip-ins, and this first one seems like anything but a tip-in to me a little bit. Maybe like a 12-foot mid-range jumper. It's the Badgers, plus 6.5. Wisconsin, 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 games against Marquette. Is 6.5 too many points for the 11th-ranked Badgers on the road?
Disrespectful. It's disrespectful. Absolutely. Like 6.5 is an easy cover for me in my mind, right? The Badgers 3-0 in the last 3 meetings. You've got a team that has been hot. And yes, they lost a really physical game against 2 7-footers for Michigan. Are you kidding me? There's no one on Marquette who is that big or going to be able to dominate. So, yeah, give me Wisconsin to cover. I probably win outright.
I think I'm with you. Obviously, I'm going to side with Marquette winning. But I think it's going to be a tight one. It always is between these teams. I think that is a little bit further than I thought it would be.
Yeah, I think so too. 6.5 is a lot of points. The state of Wisconsin basketball has me all confused. It's got my brain in a pretzel, like Ricky Bobby would say, because they're just playing a different style, right?
Yeah.
Like, they've been getting up and down the court. They've been scoring 75, 80, 90, 100 points. Scored 103 points against Arizona, who hasn't turned out to be as good as we thought at the time, by the way. But because of that, and because Marquette may be wanting to slow this down a little bit, I do think it lends itself to a game that's probably played in the 60s and is closer than 6.5 points. So I agree. I think this is going to be a tight one today, but Marquette finds a way to pull it out on the home floor. Will,
I also think we are very used to football lines, so transitioning into basketball season, we got to get a little bit used to those smaller lines, or those bigger lines for football being a closer game in college basketball. But anyways, next we got the over-under currently set at 150.5. Wisconsin has hit the over in 16 out of their last 20 games, and the total has gone over in 6 out of the last 8 matchups between Wisconsin and Marquette. Knowing this, are we feeling a lot of points or more of a defensive stalemate?
I'm going to say a little bit more defensive still. No, I think that the key to both teams is going to try and slow this game down because the Marquette Golden Eagles feel like they're a higher flying team in general. The games have hit the over. And Wisconsin's scoring fast. I don't think that there's enough beef for Marquette to slow anyone down. And I don't know if the Badgers are strong enough under the hoop to slow anyone down either. Give me the over. Why not?
What was the number again?
150.5.
Yes, 150.5.
I'm not a math guy. I was a comm major at
75.
Marquette, but 75 points basically is,
Right.
they're looking at 77-74.
Yeah, last year 75-64 Wisconsin, so pretty on brand. I think we're going to hit the over. I think, like you said, we're talking so much about the last 3 years, but this Wisconsin team is a lot different than what we've seen. And I think Marquette, if Cam Jones plays like Cam Jones and Marquette functions like they can as an offensive team, I think this has the potential to go back and forth a bit on the offensive side. So give me the over.
What do you guys think of overtime today?
I'm in.
If overtime's a thing, which I would sign up for right now, less than 2 hours before the game, just for the fun of it all.
Not when you're in the
overtime,
stands later?
Yeah, no, I'll be sweating my brains out. I'll take the over, too. I do think we could be in for, just because of the style Wisconsin is playing this year, they're trying to do a little more. And I think Cam Jones, because of some of the injuries to Marquette, is going to want to wear some of the offensive onus on his shoulders. Maybe we get a shootout, a little scoring fest at Fiserv for him, and we get a 2025 college basketball game, not an 1897 one that Wisconsin likes to play so often. So I'll take the over as well. Next, Will.
Love it, fellas. Love it. Next, we got the money line. Wisconsin coming in at plus 215, Marquette minus 260. Wisconsin 0-5 straight up in their last 5 road games. While we're getting very in depth here, Marquette 15-5 straight up in their last 20 games played on a Saturday. Can the environment at the Fiserv Forum disrupt the Badgers enough to give the Golden Eagles another Saturday win?
Where are you getting these stats at? It reminds me of like those dorky baseball stats where the guy's like, yeah, this team is 375 in games played in a dome north of the Mason-Dixon line. Like, who needs that? I don't even know what the question was. Money line? Straight up.
Money
Matt,
line.
who you got?
I'll go Marquette. That Saturday stat sold me. I need Will to be my bookie or something because this is great. I think Marquette. I just think Marquette's got the advantage with the home game. I feel like in recent years, for the most part, the home team has kind of dominated. That win by Wisconsin 2 years ago here, that was an electric game that did go in overtime. Chucky Hepburn looked like a lottery pick, and Wisconsin's kind of handled things in Madison for the most part, but I think Marquette's going to bounce back at home tonight.
Listen, I get that Marquette is the home team. This is a not far drive, and outside of the environment, having a day where you wake up a little early, you get on the bus with your team, you drive over. Maybe they're staying here.
I think they stay
here. Yeah. So it is.
The only reason I know that is I drove past their bus outside a hotel in downtown Milwaukee this morning.
All right. Well, he knows what he's talking about. But you have a full day dedicated to team events in a way that I think really builds camaraderie. Right. The short trip that I take for the UFA, the Madison Radicals down to Chicago. Those games, we always do better, except for the game we lost everyone to injury. But I digress. We do better because we spend this bus ride, we spend this day together prepping and getting ready in a way that you might not as the home team. You might be a little bit more in rhythm and things like that. So I'm going to take Wisconsin. I think Wisconsin wins this one still. I'm also bad at betting, so take that as you will.
That is fair. I will take Marquette, not just because I'm a proud alum and supporter of the program. However, I'll throw this in. This is Wisconsin's first true road game of the year. They haven't played in a raucous road environment yet.
Great point.
So I think this turned up Saturday Marquette Milwaukee crowd with the kids maybe a little bit lubed up from some beers at Broken Bat. I do think there's some credence to what you said, Alex, about just being in your own bubble, right, and being around your teammates on a road game. It simplifies things, I think, but you also have to experienced that a couple times. And I think the first time of the season is a difficult place to win. So I'll take Marquette with the money line here today. Will, do we have anything else?
Yeah, we got 2 more props left. We have Cam Jones to have 8 or more assists plus 165. Currently averaging 7 assists in home games this year and has had 8 or more assists in 5 out of 9 games for Marquette this year. Does Cam Jones rise up in a big game and dish out 8 or more assists?
That's steep.
I'm taking the under here. In a loss at Iowa State on Wednesday night this week, and in a bad game, and I'm doing the air quotes on the ESPN Milwaukee and Madison YouTube pages right now, bad game was 14-9-8 for him. So he hit it on Wednesday night. That's a bad game. I think Cam Jones is at his best when he's scoring and he's a microwave, and I think this is going to be a Cam Jones put the team on my back kind of offensive performance where he's in the 20s or maybe even 30s. So I think that would lend itself to less assists. I'll take the under on 8.
Will, correct me if I'm wrong. My friend, I was closing Broken Bat last night. My friend was at the bar looking at Prize Picks. He said Cam Jones' scoring line was 19, I believe. I don't know if you have that in front of you, Will, but I think I'm hammering the over on that for sure for Cam Jones, because I agree with you. I think we're going to get to a point in this game where Cam Jones has to step up and be the leader of this team, and he's got to go on a run. He's got to get the crowd behind him. So I'm going to take the under on assists as well. It would be great if he's flirting with a triple-double. He's already done it a couple times this year, but I'm going to take the under on assists.
Jen Latta had the chance to sit down with Shaka Smart, and he said that the way that Cam Jones is being evaluated this year isn't by how he scores, because everyone knows he can score. It's about how he passes the ball. It's about how he gets the boards, and I think that that's going to be a big point of emphasis. The Badgers know who he is, and they're ready for him. If he can facilitate, then I think that the Marquette will do better. He'll also score a bunch. We know that. So I'm going to take the over. I think that he's going to have 9-10 assists.
All right, last one, Will.
All right, we got one more quick one. John Tonje to have 20 or more points is plus 100. Currently averaging 22.3 points per game this year, including a monster 41-point game against Arizona earlier in the year. Does Tonje play up to his competition in another big game, or will Shaka Smart's deflections tactic cause him to go under 20 points?
I'm taking the Stevie Mitchell under, baby. I think Stevie Mitchell is going to be right up in his grill, picking him up full court. We saw him do this a couple of weeks ago against Purdue, right? Purdue is one of the best backcourts in the country, and Stevie Mitchell had that Purdue offense in absolute hell for 40 minutes. I'll take the Stevie Mitchell-driven under for Tonje today.
I love that, and you almost convinced me. But if I'm going to take the over on the game, and I think Wisconsin's going to hang with Marquette offensively, it's going to be because of John Tonje. And I do have some defensive concerns, not with Stevie Mitchell.
I didn't know this was a parlay.
We can make
this is not financial advice, folks.
We can make it one. Yes.
But I'm going to take the over on that one for Tonje. I think if Wisconsin's going to hang in this game on the road, he's going to have a good day.
John Tonje, it's all a little off because of that 41-point game. He's not going to do that all the time. I'm taking the under. I'm taking Nolan Winter, whatever he's projected. I'm taking the over on him. He's my guy for this one.
There you go. That is Tip-Ins. This is Marquette, Wisconsin College Game Day live from Broken Bat Brewery in the 3rd Ward. If you're on your way downtown, stop out for a beer. They've got $5 ring out Ahoyas for the Marquette crowd all day long. Open to close. They're open now. Stop by for a cold one, then head on over.
And they're not kicking out Wisconsin fans either. There's a handful of us here.
No, it's a Marquette-owned, alum-owned place, but that's okay. We welcome all for the cold beers.
We'll see how the game goes.
After the game's a different story. Coming up on the other side, we're with you for another hour until noon today, leading you up to the network pregame coverage. Coming up next, this Wisconsin program is playing different this year. Why? How? We'll answer those questions on the other side. This is Marquette, Wisconsin College Game Day, brought to you all season long by National Liquor Mart, Cousins Subs, and Marquette Athletics.
More hoops talk coming up on ESPN Wisconsin. This is Marquette, Wisconsin College Game Day.
Kringle, all I want for Christmas is you.
Dad!
What?
We talked about this. Yeah, your jingle for your Kringle entry last year was so lame that Racine Danish Kringle banned you from their contest.
I thought it was only a one holiday season ban.
It was a lifetime ban.
Well, I guess I'm out, but here's how you can enter our ESPN Wisconsin Racine Danish Kringle Jingle for Your Kringle contest on Wilde and Tausch. Submit your own original jingle to ESPNWisconsinContest.com. Then we'll pick the most creative songs, and our grand prize winner will get Kringle for a year. Make sure you include Racine Danish Kringle. It's not just a treat, it's a tradition in your jingle. If you don't want to sing, but you still want to celebrate the holidays with Racine Danish Kringle, call 800-4DANISH or visit Kringle.com and order their all-new Eggnog Holiday Kringle.
Racine Danish Kringle, such a tasty, yummy treat. With a flaky crust and sweet icing, it's the best thing you can eat.
Oh, like that's so much better than mine.
Well, at least we're not off-key.
It's the most wonderful time to bar crawl. Get ready for Milwaukee's 11th annual 12 Bars of Christmas on December 14th from noon to 5 p.m. 3 festive locations, Water Street, MLK Drive, and Brady Street, packed with holiday cheer. Your ticket includes a lanyard for food and drink specials, a holiday mug, and free entry at every stop, all while supporting Toys for Tots. Dust off your ugliest sweater, grab your friends, and join the city's biggest Christmas party. Tickets are limited, so don't wait. Head to 12bocwi.com to grab yours now. 21 plus only. Please drink responsibly.
Gabe Neitzel from Jen, Gabe, and Chewy here. Don't let the chilly weather end your golf season. X-Golf and American Family Field is open all year round. They've got innovative and accurate golf simulators, all overlooking left field at AmFam Field. Enjoy daily lunch specials or have an outing with your friends and take in X-Golf's full bar and food menus. X-Golf AmFam Field is even offering golf lessons by a PGA Pro. Everyone is welcome at X-Golf AmFam. Book your sim today, xgolfamfamfield.com. I'll see you out there.
Marquette Hall of Famer Tony Smith here. You're listening to the home of Marquette basketball. 94.5 ESPN is WKTI and WKTI HD Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station. Biggest rivalry in the state.
It is Marquette against Wisconsin.
Takes center stage.
As a player, you got to love this game. You got to love the energy that this is going to bring. You got to love this.
Especially if you're from Wisconsin. Under the basket, wild pass. Another turnover. Marquette comes the other way with Sean Jones. He's got Kolek, wide open three. Kolek, good, oh baby.
This is Marquette, Wisconsin College Game Day.
Bruzewicz to midcourt. Brust has it. Lets it go.
Now broadcasting live from Broken Bat Brewery in Milwaukee, here's Bryan Dee.
90 minutes till tip-off between Marquette and Wisconsin. Still time for you to pop by Broken Bat and have a cold one before heading over to the arena. Bryan Dee, Matt Yeazel, Alex Gravatt with you until noon. At that point, Gabe Neitzel takes over with your network pregame coverage, and then tip-off between number 5 Marquette and number 11 Wisconsin inside Fiserv Forum. Homer and Tony on the call at 12:30 this afternoon. Guys, the Wisconsin Badgers are playing a different brand of basketball this year. For 150 years, literally, 125, they have tried to slow the game down. They have tried to play efficient offensive basketball, which is a nice way of saying slow. They've tried to slow games down, they've tried to create good shots, and they've tried to win games in the 50s and maybe the 60s, right? And that stems back to the Dick Bennett brand of basketball. This year, for the first time since 1897, Wisconsin's been playing basketball since the 1800s. For the first time in the history of the program this year, they scored 75 or more points in their first 8 games of the year. They're scoring this year. And I think some of that has to do with the talent that they have on the roster, right? They've got a guy that transferred in like John Tonje who scored 41 points at home against the Arizona Wildcats. So you've got some offensive firepower for sure. But I also think this has to do with getting kids to come to a place like Wisconsin. I really think Greg Gard finally realized that if we're going to get back to the Final Four for the first time in 10 years, and we're going to continue to be a top-notch program in the Big Ten Conference, we need to meet kids where they are now. We need to get kids to come here and play a style of basketball that will allow them to not go be car salesmen or radio hosts after their career. Sorry, Ben Brust, he joins us in 10 minutes.
Yes.
But to get them to the NBA. And I say that somewhat facetiously about Benny, but you want to play a style of basketball that allows kids to go to the NBA. If I'm 17 years old and I'm a great college basketball player, my dream job is not to play 4 years at Wisconsin and be a grinder and then go on. Like, some kids have to do that. But my goal as a 17-year-old, if I'm a top recruit, in-state or out-of-state, is to go to the NBA and to get there as quick as possible. And Wisconsin was not playing a style of basketball that lent itself to that. Marquette plays that style of basketball, and you see what happens. You've got guys. Here we go.
to the Badgers. And, like, listen, that's been it. And I do want to let you continue here in a second, but I think that it's interesting that you're putting a lot of the onus here on Greg Gard, who's done a fantastic job teaching or coaching this year. There's a lot to really like there. But remember, he's been a part of the program since 2001. I struggle to find him responsible alone for this grand turnaround in offensive structure.
Wisconsin hasn't been doing a lot of winning lately either, Alex. Right? So I do think, and college basketball is different now. College sports are different now than they were in 2001 or 2010 or 2015. You need to play an attractive style of basketball to get kids to come to your school and show them a path to the NBA. And if you're not showing them that, kids are going to go elsewhere, in-state or out-of-state. They're going to go to a different place. Matt, where do you come out on this? I really think some of this is the talent that they currently have within the program, but some of it is a mindset change. If you got a Broken Bat beer inside Greg Gard, or a Badger Collective NIL beer inside Greg Gard, I do think he would say there is some credence to, look, we're trying to play a different style to get kids to come to Wisconsin.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Wisconsin was stuck in the mud offensively for a while. Like you mentioned, being compared to like a Virginia who kind of plays it similar. Like, look, they're not concerned about scoring 60, 70 points. They're concerned about the defensive end and getting quality looks on offense. But at some point, in today's age of college basketball, you got to just find some hoopers that can go get you a bucket when you need one. And Wisconsin struggled mightily with that in recent years. Every now and then we saw flashes from Chucky Hepburn. Like I mentioned, when he played in Milwaukee 2 years ago, he looked like a lottery pick type of point guard that could get you a bucket when you needed one. But too often in the last few years, they just haven't had the guys that you can get the ball to and get a big-time shot when you need one, like I think Marquette has right now with Cam Jones, like he's shown throughout his career. So I think we're seeing that change a little bit. They went in the transfer portal because they had to, again, because a lot of guys left. But they went in the portal. They got a hooper in John Tonje who played at some smaller schools. They said, okay, we like what we see. We think this can translate to the Big Ten and some of the opponents we're going to play. And so far, it has. And I think that's a positive development if you're a Badger fan.
For sure. And the last guy that was able to do it, obviously, at that level was Johnny Davis. And look what happened to him, right? The last guy that they just let cook out there and said, go do your thing, was a lottery pick in the NBA. That's how you have to play and get kids. You have to motivate them in that way, in addition to the money part of this, right? Like, money has to be there to get these kids to come to your school. Player development has to be there in order, once you get them, to transcend them to that NBA level. But you have to play a style of basketball that allows them to be themselves offensively, because that's where basketball is today, right now, in 2024, 2025.
It's the perfect storm, right? We mentioned that half of the Badgers roster left. They transfer portal, graduation, and whatever it was, they're gone. And so Gard had a moment where he could completely reinvent the team. And is this Gard? Absolutely. He has a part to do with it. But I think that Chris McIntosh, the athletic director of Wisconsin, Luke Fickell coming in and being like, no, we have to pay players. And he's bringing in this outside expertise in that area, in this conversation about recruiting. And all of a sudden you have a fully new starting lineup. You have a little bit of money to spend and play with, and you've got a group of people who are excited and intrigued in this, and you go out and you get a bunch of guys who can go score and see what happens. Now, what I think could be the biggest thing for Wisconsin is having this game today be an incredibly competitive game, be chippy, be exciting, because if you can create the environment of a true rivalry game with your in-state opponent who is consistently a top 10 team, who is consistently making runs in the tournament to lose to the hot team, but everyone has to do something, right? The Badgers were the #1 upset pick in the first weekend last year, so I think that this is just the perfect storm, and my curiosity is, can they keep this running past this year to create some exciting, so that Con Knippel, who was a Wisconsin guy, doesn't go to Duke. Now, obviously, if you can go to Duke, go to Duke. But if we can start saving some of those guys and keeping them in state and attracting the excitement of Chicago kids, it's perfect.
You're talking about culture, right? And that's the one thing that Shaka Smart has built in an expeditious amount of time in Milwaukee, right? He's built a culture, and he said this with Alex Strofe on Coaches Week across the ESPN Wisconsin YouTube pages. He said, the only place you should leave Marquette early for is the NBA. And he's built a program where guys buy into that and say, I've seen 25 years of guys going to the NBA through Marquette and also playing high-level Big East college basketball and being successful. And I think Wisconsin is, in some ways, in the infancy stages of trying to build that culture where they can get guys like Con Knippel and others from in-state to go not to Marquette, but to Wisconsin and show them a path to professional basketball. 800-990-3776 is the phone number for you to get in on this Marquette-Wisconsin College Game Day. Tip-off a little more than an hour away. It's one thing for us to talk about Badgers basketball and what's happening inside the program. It's quite another for Ben Brust to do it. Benny joins us on the other side, the Badgers legend. This is Marquette Wisconsin College Game Day, live from Broken Bat Brewing Company in the 3rd Ward, 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee, 100.5 ESPN Madison, brought to you all season long by National Liquor Mart, Cousin Subs, and Marquette Athletics.
More hoops talk coming up on ESPN Wisconsin. This is Marquette, Wisconsin College Game Day. With Wilde and Tausch, you won't miss a play.
Romeo. This 3-syllable, you have to take the O out of the equation. That's too easy.
Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
Iota, right? Not one iota. Iota.
Yeah, that's only 4 letters.
Weekdays from 9 to noon.
Let's pretend you're a first-time listener to Wilde and Tausch. What the hell is this? They're discussing syllables.
On 94.5 ESPN, the Wisconsin On Demand app, and at ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
From the biggest plays on the court to the comments made in the locker room after, an in-depth recap of every Bucks game in 6 minutes. No more, no less. Bucks in 6 provides game recaps for every game. Hear the high-flying dunks from Giannis.
Puts it on the floor, spins down the lane, and plunges it through.
Or the deep threes from Dame.
Dame time has arrived with 107.
Bucks in 6 on the Bucks Plus Audio Network. Find it now on bucks.com/plus or on Spotify, Apple, and wherever you get your podcasts.
Hard to believe that Christmas is only a couple of weeks away, right? But there's still plenty of time to find incredible gift deals because Macy's Friends and Family Sale is happening now. What does that mean? It means when you use your coupon or Macy's card, you can take an extra 30% off, just like Friends and Family can. That's 30% off the best holiday gifts, 30% off the best designer brands, 30% off what's trending right now. It's just this week, it's just what you were looking for, and it's only at Macy's. Savings off regular and already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
Oh no, my phone.
Hear that? It's the sound of a skater dropping her phone and smashing it on the ice. Yep, it's definitely broken. But at Verizon, we got you. For a limited time, trade in any phone, any condition from one of our top brands and get a new Samsung Galaxy S24 Plus on Unlimited Ultimate and Watch 7 and Tab S9 FE 5G. That's up to $1,900 in value. So you'll save big on 3 great gifts. Only at Verizon. Service plan required for watch and tablet. Up to $1,900 value based on phone, watch, and tablet. Trade in and additional terms apply. See Verizon.com for details.
Football season. Best time of the year and my favorite time of the year. This is ESPN Wisconsin's Brad Nortman. On game days, my favorite teammate is a cold carbless in my hand. Premium cocktails in a can made right here in the great state of Wisconsin. Maybe it's when I'm at the tailgate ahead of kickoff or getting ready at home for the game. Carbless is there. 0 sugar, 0 carbs, and gluten-free. Carbless features classic cocktails like margarita, Paloma, and even Moscow Mule, and vodka cocktail flavors like cranberry, lemon, and peach. Find it on your next grocery trip. Carbless. Less is more.
Monica, what delightful surprise do you have for us this Christmas?
I've been waiting all day for your big reveal.
Take a look and tell me what you see.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
I see the North Star, that guiding light that always lets you know where you are.
The North Star is important to you?
Sitting directly above the axis of the Earth, it's the only star in the sky that never moves. It's always there for you.
Sarah?
I see the star that stood high over Bethlehem 2,000 years ago.
Starlight, star bright, first star I see tonight. I wish I may, I wish I might.
Monica, it's fabulous.
Nicole Lasker designed it.
I love her.
What's it called?
The Star of Hope. We have them in sterling silver with 4 diamonds for just $198. And in white gold with bigger and bigger diamonds at prices up to $19.98.
I love it.
I love it even more than Rick does.
The Star of Hope.
For the location of the Kesslers nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
Michelle, can you believe I've had 20 beers?
What?
I said, can you believe Professional Construction Inc. has been around for 20 years?
Sure, that's what you said. It feels just like yesterday we started the business.
In all seriousness, we want to say thank you to our valued customers, family, and friends.
And all those who have helped us get to this huge milestone. So from our family to yours, thank you.
Professional Construction Inc., your go-to contractor for 20 years.
This is Marquette, Wisconsin College Game Day on ESPN Wisconsin.
2.5 seconds to go. Bruzewitz to midcourt. Brust has it. Lets it go.
Found
you here right beside me.
We don't need to stroke his ego anymore. This is Marquette, Wisconsin College Game Day live from Broken Bat Brewery in the 3rd Ward. Little over an hour until tip between these rivals, Marquette and Wisconsin, inside Fiserv Forum. And joining us now, a man who played in 4 of these games. He is Wisconsin Badger legend Ben Brust. Benny, does that highlight ever get old for you hearing that?
I was thinking about it. I was like, should they mix it up and do different intros? But I'm okay with it, and I know that Alex Strofe, one of our producers and hosts, is always looking for a raise. I know Will just started, but I think we might need to give him a raise.
Yeah, I think so too. We can sprinkle him in on KBN. Strophy's here right now, Benny, and he's wearing his split Marquette, Wisconsin shirt that his girlfriend spliced together for him here at Broken Bat. I called it grotesque on social media. He went viral yesterday. What did you make of that shirt choice that he's currently wearing as he orders a beer here at Broken Bat?
He is got some major birthday energy right now. It is his birthday, and I think if I could imagine what it's like at Broken Bat, he's a beer in his hand, he's smiling, and then everyone who comes up with him, he's like, "Oh, I went to Stevens Point. I'm from Green Bay. I like both teams." I can literally hear the conversation he's having with every single person about the shirt.
You literally just did play-by-play of Alex Strofe without being here. That was incredible stuff from Ben Brust. All right, Ben, let's transition to this game today. You played in 4 of these, and we had a conversation off the top of our show about how people in this state, it doesn't feel as heated because there's a lack of real stakes, right? Both of these teams can recover and have great seasons regardless of a loss today. How would you build in stakes, and what did it feel like as a player that played in this thing?
Well, I think for both teams right now, coming off of losses, the message that I would have as a coach to both teams is like, A, you want to win this game for both yourself, the fans. You're like, it does matter. Look, it does matter. There's no doubt it matters. But you're coming off losses, and you never know what your team's going to be like once you get into conference play. And this will be a signature win on your resume as you head towards the NCAA tournament. These teams are both what we think they are, which I'm not going to lie, I still am a little scared about the Badgers. I'm not saying they're not going to make the tournament. I think they might be exposed today. I really do. I don't love the matchup for them. So you got to get up. You got to find a way to get a win because you're both coming up losses, and losing 2 games in a row in December is not fun because then you head into finals. And then you're just dwelling on losses. So you just got to find a way. Someone's got to find a way, and I have a bad feeling it's going to be Marquette.
Why are you skeptical?
I'm skeptical because I love the way that the guards play for Marquette. The Badgers don't have a point guard. Their point guard comes off the bench. His name's Kamari McGee, and he's great. I love him. But I don't think he's going to play 38 minutes and control the tempo, control the game. Although Chucky Hepburn 2 years ago at Fiserv Forum hit unbelievable shots, he was the guy running the pace and the tempo and hit big shots. They don't have a point guard, and if you don't have a point guard, how are you going to get into any offense when you have Marquette guards? If I was Shaka, if the ball went through the hoop, I am guarding them the entire way down the floor. I hope he's not listening, and make the ball handlers make mistakes because they don't really have a true point guard.
I love how Ben thinks he created the full court press. I've never heard of it.
Ben, so here's the thing. I didn't know until today that if you're a Marquette fan in the student section just wearing red, you get escorted out of that area by security. I knew that this had some heat. I didn't know the extent of heat it had from Marquette fans. What was it like in the locker room? Did Coach Bo Ryan for you kind of prep you for that? And was there that same level of heat coming from your side?
Wait, is that actually true? That can't be true.
That's what I'm saying.
That is true.
That was my experience my freshman year.
That's the thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
I don't know.
Is Bryan Dee running the security section?
Yes. Yes. I wonder, I don't know if it's because they don't want it or if it's for, protection. You know what I mean? Which neither is good.
Me?
Now that I say that out loud, neither is good.
Now you're making it sound like your student body and these Marquette students are out for blood.
And they're not. They're not out for blood.
That's what I'm saying. The Marquette students are private kids. They're not about that life. They've never been in a fight.
Fair.
So was it in the locker room as Santa Claus walks
Santa's
in at
here.
the Broken Bat Brewery?
Oh, there he is. He's wearing red, unfortunately.
Exactly. No, that's a Badger fan right there. I'm taking it. What was it like in the locker room? Were you prepped as the big rivalry game?
No, I can't speak to how they treat it now. We knew what it was, right? You have guys that grew up in the state of Wisconsin and maybe grew up Marquette fans, but once you put on the jersey, you're all because we had some Milwaukee guys that would just grew up in the area, and naturally they're we would talk about it. There's some damn good teams, some damn good guys, and you're like, we're not there anymore. And so I remember when I was a freshman, Josh Gosser at the Bradley Center got a steal, and seeing a guy from Port Washington right outside of Milwaukee get the job done, it matters. Now, for Klesmit, I think it matters for him at Wisconsin. Kamari, I think it matters. But it is weird. Does John Tonje coming from Missouri and Colorado State, is this just another game where you hope he plays well, or does he know we want him to be a dog? He has to be a dog. Because the way the Marquette plays, rivalry or not, they are dogs. So I'm curious to see what the intensity level is. But for Bo Ryan, it was the same speech, the same this, the same that, and it was boring, but it worked for us. And what's weird is Wisconsin's won these last couple matchups against Marquette, and Marquette's 6.5-point favorites. And I'm really intrigued to see, because I think Marquette is the better team. Not just because of the point spread. I'm curious to see what Wisconsin's made of today.
Ben, I want to ask, you talk about maybe the specific rivalry not hitting so hard for certain players, maybe not from the state, but you mentioned playing in the Bradley Center. Obviously, Fiserv Forum is brand new, but what was the experience like, coming from playing in the Kohl Center to, once or twice in your college career you're going to get to play in an NBA arena in Milwaukee with, of course, some Badger fans making the short trip. Was that an experience you and the other players looked forward to every year?
Yeah, it was. So my freshman year, this is a funny story. I was my freshman year, we were on the road. We won that game. And I barely played as a freshman, but I got called into the first half. And I had to guard Darius Johnson Odom, DJO, as a freshman. And he's a legit man that looked like he was
biggest
25.
shoulders I've ever seen in my life.
And I cut him off on the baseline. I was like, yeah, I cut him off. And then on offense, I had a wide-open floater from 5 feet that I airballed. And that was the end of me playing there as a freshman. My junior year, we lost. But then won my senior year. So it was 2-2. It is fun. It's more fun going on the road, in my opinion, because the opportunity to shut up the crowd. I remember being at Wisconsin when Marquette won by 20, and it was the Andrew Rousey game and the Hausers. And I think Wisconsin had a bunch of guys hurt, but they came into the Kohl Center, and I guarantee if you asked them, they'd be like, that felt freaking amazing, shutting up the entire crowd, especially with all the stuff that had gone on there. So the road games are more fun, they're more challenging, but when you get a win on the road, it feels so much better.
And, of course, Ben Brust's biggest game in the Bradley Center. He lit that place on fire, maybe the loudest moment in the history of the arena. Ben Brust, former Badger, joins us here on Marquette, Wisconsin. College game day tip-off just over an hour away. Ben, I'm curious about the state of Wisconsin basketball right now. We just had a conversation about it because they're scoring this year. And that's an abnormal thing, maybe outside of those couple of years, your junior and senior year, and then the second Final Four year. There's a lot of points being scored for this program. Is it just indicative of the talent they have in the program right now, or do you think there's a bigger philosophical change happening under Greg Gard?
It's a little bit of both. You kind of have to adapt to the way that college basketball is going. I don't know if you guys have watched a lot of college basketball. Their scoring is way up. They have all these fouls that are just knick-knack and tic-tac fouls. And you're like, oh my gosh, there's no game flow. But if you have a guy like John Tonji and John Blackwell that can get to the rim, they'll throw a pump fake and they'll get to the lane, or they'll go aggressive. And I remember talking with Greg Gard after they played Arizona. I was like, how the hell did they score 100-plus points against a ranked team? And I remember they were up like 11 with like 4 minutes left. And you know what we would have done? We would have swung the ball and just
Park the bus.
Waited for, we yelled 10 seconds on the bench and do a ball screen. Coach Gard was like, yeah. I was like, forget all that. We had rhythm and momentum. You let your guys play. So it's just a level of trust that I think that Gard has in the guys. But I'll tell you what, I'm not worried about Blackwell. I'm not worried about Tonje. Max Klesmit, I think, is a guy that needs to figure out when it's right and when it's wrong within the offense to go get a bucket, because I think he's forcing it too much, and I don't know why, because he's a good player. He doesn't need to be a great player, and I don't know where that comes from, whether it's just like getting older through the program, but like play good defense, hit the open shots. He does hit tough shots. I say that, and he's missed like he was like 1 for whatever the last game. Last year against Marquette, I think you remember the first half, he hit like 6 threes. So you never know. But like I see them losing to Michigan. I'm like, why are you taking 2 of the last 3 shots? Like, give it to the guys. Give it to the guys. So I'm just curious to see how this team evolves. And like I said, I'm not feeling confident, and I'll be watching this game with about 20 Marquette alum as I head to an engagement party.
And Brust, do you think like there's inherently some rivalry, some juice, because you're just going to be around all these Marquette fans, which I'm sorry for you. Do you think that it would be better for Wisconsin and for Marquette if this were a true rivalry? I know Big East, Big Ten, you can't really get there, but like if this game meant something for the state of Wisconsin in a bigger way, do you think that it would be better for both teams?
I think we'd all be lying if we were trying to say that it's not as big of a rivalry as it seems. I do believe, and I think everyone would agree, it does matter just a little bit more to Marquette, and that's not a slight against Marquette. Yep. They don't have football. It's a basketball school. So if a basketball school with all their resources go towards the team, or the majority of resources, and they don't beat the Badgers basketball team, that's a bad look in my opinion. So it should matter more. Like, this is a basketball school at Marquette. So that's my backhanded way of saying, yeah, it does matter more to you guys, so you better not freaking lose.
Ben, you talked about kind of how this team is looking different, just going kind of with the state of college basketball. I want to get your take on where you stand with Greg Gard as a coach. I know the man next to me, Bryan Dee, is shocked that Greg Gard is still employed and has been for the last few years, and he's taken some heat, but it seems like he's making adjustments.
Putting words in my mouth a little bit there.
A little bit.
Go ahead.
At least off-air conversations we've had. But where do you stand with Greg Gard?
I mean, here's the thing. In 2020, they won 8 straight games to get a share of the Big Ten title. There was no tournament. 2022, the Johnny Davis year, Johnny Davis was ridiculous, and he was a sophomore, so Greg Gard does deserve credit for developing him from a freshman to a sophomore to doing what he did. They won a share of the Big Ten title. The only criticism I have for Greg Gard is it's unacceptable to be a head coach as long as he has, and not have gone to a Sweet 16 since 2017 out in Philadelphia against Notre Dame, or whether it was New York against Florida. I get those 2 years mixed up. But he's like, unfortunately, the way that we judge college coaches in basketball, this game doesn't matter, regular season doesn't matter. The whole world turns their attention to their favorite team in March. And there are strong college basketball fans. But when you get the masses watching in the tournament and you don't deliver, the pressure goes on you. And so I think if he can just get this team building to a spot in which they are ready to make a run, that's not a thing. It's because he's adjusted. He brought on Kirk Penny. He brought on Greg Steemsma, former Badgers that have been in the NBA, overseas, new philosophy. So they've gone full in on making this program better. Now it's just about results at the end of the day. I think Coach Gard's a good coach, and I think it's very easy to look at in the tournament and just be like, yeah, well, he doesn't win. And I get that, and I can't defend that. But at the same time, he's doing good things. Like winning a Big Ten title is not easy. You have to put together 20 games, and we'll see if he's able to do that with an extended Big Ten. But this would be the classic Greg Gard year. Greg Scalzo, my former co-host, said this one. Last year, a lot of heat on him, loses in the tournament. Watch them tie for first with 5 teams and win a Big Ten title and then hopefully make a run. But if he doesn't, it's going to be hard to fire a guy that won a Big Ten title. So that would be the guard circle of Greg Scalzo's prediction, which I think is quite funny.
All right, last thing for you, Ben. We're trying to come up with a trophy for this rivalry game to add some stakes, much like the axe between Wisconsin and Minnesota. Ben Steele from the Journal-Sentinel offered up the idea of a bronze PBR can that could be taken one way or the other down I-94. What would you suggest? What do you think the trophy should be?
As I think about 94, is there something in Johnson Creek that they're known for? Halfway through
the outlet mall.
Yeah, everyone gets a gift card to the outlet mall halfway through Madison to Milwaukee.
That Nike store is undefeated.
Is there a trophy? You know how you do these football trophies? Is there just a block of cheese on top of a trophy that you can engrave the winners and each year you give it back? I don't know. I like the trophy idea.
Yeah. What about a big udder? It's very cow-centric. You can drink out of it. It's a whole thing.
We could call it
milk it year-round.
We could call it a con canipple. I think Ben just hung up. There
you go. Got it.
Ben, thanks for the time, buddy. Enjoy the game today, and stay safe around those Marquette fans.
Stay safe, yes. It's almost like I'm in the student
They're
section.
feisty.
They're going to have to. They're going to have to escort me out of the room.
There he is. That is Ben Brust, the former Badger and host of Kyle Brust and Nortman across ESPN Wisconsin. Coming up next year on Marquette Wisconsin College Game Day, live from Broken Bat Brewery in the 3rd Ward. I almost got kicked out of the Kohl Center last year for this rivalry game. I'll explain that story on the other side. Marquette Wisconsin College Game Day all season long, brought to you by our proud partners, National Liquor Mart, Cousin Subs, and Marquette Athletics.
More hoops talk coming up on ESPN Wisconsin. This is Marquette Wisconsin College Game Day.
At Cousin Subs, the bigger your smile, the better we feel. That's why our menu features something for everyone, like our Wisconsin cheese curds, golden fries, creamy shakes, and mac and cheese, all paired with your favorite sub, or our subs in a bowl. And don't forget our kids' meals, now with a free cookie. Here's to a better day. Cousin Subs. We believe in better.
Panic strikes as you realize on Wednesday that Thursday is your anniversary. The reservations being secured.
We'll see you at 8.
The gift being purchased. Yeah, you've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with early pay up to 2 days early on direct deposits. So even though they call you Last Minute Lisa, we'll make your last minute scrambling a bit easier. You've got this with early pay from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
True Chicago-style pizza is thin, crispy, and cut into squares. And thanks to Connie's Frozen Pizza, you can enjoy a true slice of the city. You'll enjoy it so much you won't even mind where it comes from. Connie's Frozen Pizzas are made from the same cornmeal crust Connie's has been serving for over 60 years. They're perfectly cheesy, perfectly saucy, and they're exactly what you crave. Get to know the true Chicago style with Connie's Frozen Pizza. Born in Chicago, loved by cheeseheads. Available in a freezer aisle near you.
Take the stress out of the holiday season with the Milwaukee Bucks. Get all your shopping done with Bucks deal season offers, featuring great gifts and limited time packages that even Scrooge will love. Score deals for everyone on your list, including yourself, from the Milwaukee Bucks and Pfizer Forum. 'Tis the season for cheer with your favorite deer. After all, there's no place like Pfizer Forum for the holidays. Shop the offers today at bucks.com/deal season.
There's no better place to shop for the sports fan in your life than Brewtown Trading Co. Milwaukee. Not only do they have the largest selection of sports cards in the Midwest, they have the best prices too. Frame jerseys for the man cave? Check. Sealed hobby and blaster boxes of the hottest releases? Check. One-of-a-kind items you won't find anywhere else? Triple check. Open 7 days a week at 4285 South 76th Street and 24 hours a day at BrewtownTrading.com. Make this holiday extra special for the sports fan in your life today at Brewtown Trading Co.
This is Matt Meitner, owner of Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Do you find yourself talking to your dog but feel like she's not listening to you?
Bella, sit!
Are you constantly repeating yourself but she's not following your directions?
Sit! Sit!
Frustrating, isn't it? At Sit Means Sit Dog Training, we want to help you have a happy, confident, and obedient dog, and we also want to make the training process an enjoyable and worthwhile experience. Contact Sit Means Sit today to schedule a free consultation so we can create a customized training program so you are able to have the dog you want and deserve.
Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Sorry, we don't train husbands, wives, or kids.
Who doesn't love diamonds? Hey, it's Ben Brust from Kyle Brust and Ortman on ESPN Wisconsin. I know my fiance loves diamonds as evidenced from the natural diamond engagement ring I bought her at Robert Hack Diamonds. But did you know Robert Hack Diamonds also has access to thousands of lab-grown diamonds? Any shape, any size, stop in at Robert Hack Diamonds location and mention ESPN for a pair of high color and clarity 2-carat total weight lab-grown diamond studs for $6.99. Yes, $6.99 for a 2-carat total weight diamond stud. Want 4-carat total weight? Robert Hack Diamonds has you covered there too. Now is the time where you can see the deals from all sorts of jewelry stores, but before buying, make sure you call Robert Hack Diamonds. They will crush, and I mean crush, the deal you found. They want your business and they have already earned mine. Remember, 2-carat total weight lab-grown diamond studs for just $6.99, and all you have to do is mention ESPN on your next trip to one of their 2 Robert Hack Diamond stores. Learn about all they do at roberthackdiamonds.com.
You're listening to Marquette, Wisconsin College Game Day on ESPN Wisconsin.
Get some popcorn in here. Tip in! Ball game! Justin Lewis! How about the length of one-handed...
That's one of the all-time shames in the Marquette, Wisconsin rivalry. That a buzzer-beating tip-in had nobody in the crowd.
And they pumped in the sound. I forgot that was happening.
2020 was such a weird time for sports. Welcome back into a Marquette, Wisconsin College Game Day. Less than an hour from tip-off between the Badgers and the Golden Eagles. If you're listening on 94.5 ESPN, network pregame coverage begins at noon with Gabe Yeazel, Homer, and the Hall of Famer Tony Smith on the call at 12:30. My name is Bryan Dee. That's Alex Gravatt from Madison. That is Matt Yeazel from ESPN Milwaukee. We are breaking down this game. And Matt, you actually lobbed something up that's becoming a theme on this show that I wasn't actually aware existed, that if you wear red in the Marquette student section for this game, you get forcefully escorted out. Not forcefully.
I thought you were going to say executed. I was going to say,
whoa. No.
Slow down there.
I can only have a real rival.
Right, yeah, there we go. I can only speak to my experience. This was my freshman year in the student section, hyped up, got my season tickets, first year or whatever, and I'm just seeing these people wearing red, Wisconsin stuff, in the student section. Now, I don't know if they're Badger students or Marquette students that haven't found their way yet, but they were escorted out, and it was becoming a thing on Twitter. I think I tweeted that out, and it kind of got some buzz, too, because, you know, the general fan bases don't know what's going on in the student sections at both schools. I can't speak to what they're doing now, so Badger fans planning to go in the student section today, I don't know if you're safe or not. But it was something that was interesting, something that I had not seen before.
So our great marketing teammate Dylan is here. He was a Marquette student as well, recent graduate. Can you give me a nod if this is a true thing? Yeah, he's nodding. This is it. So if you're wearing red in the student section, they're going to take you out. I got to believe.
Or ask you to take it off. And then if you have some, like, it's cold out, everyone's got jackets and underlayers and stuff.
Tarps off for the boys. I got to believe the people that are getting kicked out are chirping or something. You know, there's going to be a reason to kick you out.
Yeah, I don't think you're sitting there calmly and they, especially like towards the back of the student section, and they're just like, no, you're done. You get out. But I think maybe if you're, look, if you're in the student section, you're standing up, you're being loud and rowdy.
Yeah.
But I think in general, they just, especially closer to the court, I think they discourage wearing red.
Okay, I'm going to watch out for it.
And clearly they must have the right to do that.
Okay, I'm going to watch out for it. So this whole concept has prompted a memory in my mind. A year ago, I made the drive out to Madison, and I went to the game by myself. The Marquette, Wisconsin game. My wife didn't want to come that day. I was out there doing a pregame show with our good buddy Alex Strofe of Kyle Brust and Nortman, and I said, to hell with it. I'm going to buy a ticket on StubHub last minute. I'm going to go in. So I did. Marquette lost, which was a bummer. But I sat next to a guy that whistled the entire game. You know, whistle guy at a game that can stick his fingers in his mouth and make that popping
big-time
noise?
Whistle. Okay.
And it was the worst experience. That was worse than Marquette losing, was having to sit next to whistle guy the entire game. So it got me thinking about the worst fan to sit next to at a sporting event. I will offer up whistle guy as nomination number 1. What else do you guys have?
Okay, first things first. You will never in your life enjoy going to a soccer game in South America.
Yeah, no.
I went to a Colombian soccer game. It was in Medellin. It was super fun. And we get there. Every time there's anything even remotely resembling a foul, you get 2,000 of the 60, 70,000 people just hitting that whistle again and again and again. It was electric. I had so much fun, but if you don't like the whistle guy, you're not going to like it there. That's for sure.
It was just incessant. Like, I get it if you're doing it once or twice a game, but for the full 40 minutes, this guy had his fingers in his mouth and was just popping that whistle the entire time. Matt, any other bad fans you've sat by in stadiums that you would like to nominate for the worst fan experience?
Well, I think trying to think of the atmosphere today that fans are driving to the Fiserv Forum right now and what to expect, it's going to be electric. It's going to be loud. And I think the worst fans today might be the ones that never want to stand. Or they'll have an issue with you if you're near them and you're standing.
Up, down guy.
Right, and we're not talking about the student sections, obviously. They're going to stand. But, in the lower bowl, if you're the fan that, you want to just sit back, relax, and enjoy some good college basketball today, which, sure, fine. But this is going to be a loud atmosphere. These fans are going to want to get up and get into it. I think there's going to be a lot of standing today. And you can't have an issue with that. I'm sorry. You want to be a part of the atmosphere. That's what this is all about, the college atmosphere. Bucks games are different. Bucks games are great in their own way. You can sit a little bit more and enjoy those games. This is a different atmosphere. You can't have a problem with people standing and getting loud.
I think that's a great nomination. The last one I'll lob up to you guys is person that has a comment on everything guy. Like, you can just cheer and boo, but
hosting a podcast during the game.
Yeah, exactly right. It's like, why did he do this? Or no, shoot it, or swing it, or pass it around. Like, just grab a beer, sip on that, cheer, boo. I don't need hosting a podcast guy behind me for the entire game. That's no fun.
That's what we're here for.
Any others?
I was going to say I've made a profession out of it, and I am a little bit that guy, but it's mostly just like fun facts and stats. I'm not like I don't play basketball. I don't know if that would be the right thing, but I might see someone go up and slam it down. It's like, he had 17 last week. He's gonna have a big game. Like, I like that. That's
all
me.
right.
I'm not here to tell you how to fan.
Thank goodness.
Everyone's fan is just proper. It's fine. I love it. Except for, I will say, if you're gonna overindulge, you need to be aware of your surroundings. I don't like it when people are like getting after each other without understanding that maybe it's just a one-way thing. I remember going to a Packer game, and it was an hour before the game. There's a guy standing alone, a row and a half behind me, just screaming, nothing but curse words. He's got a pile of Miller or whatever next to him, and I was just like,
drunk guy?
Dude.
Yeah, you don't want to be drunk guy.
Pull it back. You can be drunk at a game. It's a fun environment, but rein it in, man.
Yeah,
that's why they've got
blackout
Bucky
guy.
jail at Badger games. I don't know if you two know about this.
Bucky jail?
It's at football games. If you are caught being a little too rowdy, specifically in the student section, they don't want to arrest you, but they take you down to Bucky jail, which is like a fenced-in area that you get handcuffed in, and it's just a drunk tank until everyone leaves the stadium.
I didn't know there was such a thing as Bucky jail. I think
jail's a real thing.
That's what I'm going to call Stevie Mitchell's defense today. Bucky jail.
There we go.
There it is. Coming up next, we'll wrap up the show. We'll take you into network pregame coverage with some breaking news on the injury front from warm-ups at Fiserv Forum. We'll tell you what that is on the other side. This is Marquette, Wisconsin College Game Day, live from Broken Bat Brewery in the 3rd Ward, brought to you all season long by National Liquor Mart, Cousin Subs, and Marquette Athletics.
More Hoops Talk coming up on ESPN Wisconsin. This is Marquette, Wisconsin College Game Day. Greg Matzek, Gary Ellerson, the day after reaction show you need in your life.
This offense, Matt LaFleur's side of the ball, dragged this whole team through where they are right now.
It's Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Mondays with Greg and Gary.
The defense got hot at the right time. That might be what we're seeing here with the Packers defense as well.
Live from the Potawatomi Sportsbook Studios from 6 to 8 p.m. every Monday on 94.5 ESPN.
Kringle, all I want for Christmas is you.
Dad!
What?
We talked about this. Yeah, your jingle for your Kringle entry last year was so lame that Racine Danish Kringle banned you from their contest.
I thought it was only a one holiday season ban.
It was a lifetime ban.
Well, I guess I'm out, but here's how you can enter our ESPN Wisconsin Racine Danish Kringle Jingle for Your Kringle contest on Wilde and Tausch. Submit your own original jingle to ESPNWisconsinContest.com. Then we'll pick the most creative songs, and our grand prize winner will get Kringle for a year. Make sure you include Racine Danish Kringle. It's not just a treat, it's a tradition in your jingle. If you don't want to sing, but you still want to celebrate the holidays with Racine Danish Kringle, call 800-4DANISH or visit Kringle.com and order their all-new Eggnog Holiday Kringle.
Racine Danish Kringle, such a tasty, yummy treat with a flaky crust and sweet icing. It's the best thing you can eat.
Oh, like that's so much better than mine.
Well, at least we're not off key.
It's the most wonderful time to bar crawl. Get ready for Milwaukee's 11th annual 12 Bars of Christmas on December 14th from noon to 5 p.m. 3 festive locations, Water Street, MLK Drive, and Brady Street, packed with holiday cheer. Your ticket includes a lanyard for food and drink specials, a holiday mug, and free entry at every stop, all while supporting Toys for Tots. Dust off your ugliest sweater, grab your friends, and join the city's biggest Christmas party. Tickets are limited, so don't wait. Head to 12bocwi.com to grab yours now. 21 plus only. Please drink responsibly.
Gabe Neitzel from Jen, Gabe, and Chewy here. Don't let the chilly weather end your golf season. X Golf and American Family Field is open all year round. They've got innovative and accurate golf simulators, all overlooking left field at AmFam Field. Enjoy daily lunch specials or have an outing with your friends and take in X Golf's full bar and food menus. X Golf AmFam Field is even offering golf lessons by a PGA Pro. Everyone is welcome at X Golf AmFam. Book your sim today, xgolfamfamfield.com. I'll see you out there. Give the gift of a special night out from the Bartolotta Restaurants. Purchase a gift card at bartolottas.com and get a $20 holiday bonus for every $100 you spend. Happy holidays from all of us at the Bartolotta Restaurants, and thank you, Milwaukee.
With Progressive, you get more than savings. You get access to us through our mobile app, online chat, or by phone.
Oh, I see what you're doing here, Jamie. Giving me all these ways to stay in touch so I have no excuse not to. Well, you're in luck, because this guy's in the market for a new BFF.
Actually, all our customers can contact us this way.
Oh, yeah, no, I was just kidding.
But I am always up for Taco Pizza! Jinx!
Get help from Progressive through the website, app, chat, or phone. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
The most talked about holiday deal just dropped at Target. Get 10% off Target gift cards with Target Circle now. From your teenage nephew to your kids' teachers and coaches, Target gift cards bring joy to everyone on your list. Join Target Circle for free, and you'll get the deal automatically. But hurry, 10% off Target gift cards with Target Circle in Sunday, December 8th. Save more on gifts. Happier holidays from Target. Restrictions apply.
For general contest rules, visit ESPNWisconsinContest.com.
I feel so stuck.
The Veterans Crisis Line is here for you. Dial 988, then press 1 to call.
This is Marquette, Wisconsin College Game Day on ESPN Wisconsin.
Marquette is going to have 9 days off before their next game. Howard for 3. Look at him go. They keep coming for Marquette.
Closing in on tip-off between Marquette and Wisconsin. The Golden Eagles come in at number 5, Wisconsin at number 11. The rivalry renewed, first time since 2011. These teams have come in both ranked. Going to be an exciting game. Gabe Neitzel has your network pregame coverage on the Marquette Radio Network if you're listening in Milwaukee, coming up at noon. Guys, we got some big news from the warm-up floor at Fiserv Forum, where I'll be heading shortly after we wrap up here at noon. Chase Ross, one of Marquette's best perimeter defenders, suffered a pretty severe sprained ankle on Wednesday night in a loss at Iowa State, and apparently he's warming up. Now, that's a big surprise for this game because he was in a boot.
Yeah.
And sometimes the boot is precautionary after you sprain an ankle. You never really know the severity, but a boot, generally speaking, is not something you want to see in basketball for a guy that just sprained his ankle. The fact that he's out there warming up in uniform is a really good sign for his availability and could really stack up and bode well for Marquette's perimeter defense today, Matt.
Yeah, one of those guys, if you're looking at the box score prior to this game, maybe Badger fans that haven't watched Marquette yet, you might not think that's as big of an impact, but we've talked about the defensive side for Marquette a lot today, and I think that just would make me and other Marquette fans feel 10 times better about the defensive matchup against this Wisconsin offense, particularly as Ben Steele, who, by the way, reported that Chase Ross was warming up. He mentioned earlier the strength of the Wisconsin backcourt. If Chase Ross is able to go, even in a somewhat limited capacity, I think defensively I feel 10 times better about the matchup against that Wisconsin backcourt.
The other thing about Chase is he's second on the team in assists, so maybe I have to go back and amend my my Cam Jones over on assists. If Chase is playing, then there will be more ball movement, and that spreads the Wisconsin defense a little bit more too, which makes me a little nervous. But the entire Marquette team is banged up. We don't know if he's active yet or not. Correct.
Correct.
Okay, so listen, anything could happen, but that's that could be huge for Marquette in this game.
Yeah, it just pushes the onus onto some more senior guys, right? Chase is a junior. He's played a lot of basketball at Marquette. He's played in some big-time tournament and Big East tournament moments. And when he went out of Wednesday night's game relatively early in the first half, Marquette had to rely on a couple of freshmen to play significant minutes, most notably Demarius Owens and Royce Parham, who contributed well offensively, but defensively, that's a whole different animal against a team like Iowa State or a team like Wisconsin that's got some experience on the floor, right?
Yeah.
So just having Chase out there from a being in the right place defensively perspective could do a world of help for Marquette today against the Badgers.
Yeah, and I just want to hit on those two freshmen. We haven't talked a ton about them, but I think that's my biggest takeaway from Marquette's last game against Iowa State. Demarius Owens, and Royce Parham, particularly late in that second half, just stepping up and getting those buckets that Marquette needed. I think if you go into a big game for Marquette and you're going to say Cam Jones is going to shoot as poorly as he did, and you're still going to have a shot to win that game on the road, I would have been pretty surprised going into that game. So I think we're going to see more and more Demarius Owens, more and more Royce Parham, but particularly Owens. I mean, he just showed the ability not just to shoot from deep, but to be a ball handler, to take control and get a bucket when they need him.
So I went on the Dam Sports Show on ESPN Beaver Dam on Thursday afternoon with our buddies Corey Sparks and Wally Lukaczynski, and they asked me, tie game, 10 seconds left, Cam Jones can't take the shot for some reason to win the game. Who do you want the ball in the hands of? And at the time, Chase Ross was not looking like he was going to be healthy.
Yeah.
I think I would amend my pick to Chase in that moment. But in that moment, I said Demarius Owens because of how well he's been shooting the three.
87.5%.
I did make a bet, guys, with the ESPN Beaver Dam Sports Show guys. I said that if Demarius Owens wins today's game on a buzzer beater, which is pretty specific, if he wins the game on a buzzer beater, I have to drive to Beaver Dam next week and jump in Lake Beaver Dam in the frigid part of December.
Wow.
So I'm hoping Marquette wins comfortably today. I'm hoping they cover the 6.5-point spread, but there is a smidge of me that is hoping for the Demarius Owens buzzer beater so I can go jump in Lake Beaver Dam with the Dam Sports Show guys on ESPN Beaver Dam.
I mean, you might make a Marquette fan out of me in no time. That would be so much fun to watch. I'd make the trek up and just watch that. I'm not jumping in myself. We had the sales team went up there a couple weeks ago that I'm a part of, or a couple years ago now, I guess. But we had one of our guys jump in the water. It's a different color up there. Just fair warning.
Uh-oh.
So
if the KBN boys could do it because of Jordan Love's touchdown bet last year, I think I could pull it off with a Marquette victory today. About a minute left in the show, guys. We'll wrap it up with this. We've talked about adding a trophy to this game. a trophy to add some stakes because it happens so early in the year, I want to nominate this because Ben Steele gave us the bronze PBR can. Ben Brust gave us the Con Knipple, just a big udder, right? I want to nominate a golden beer keg. A giant beer keg that you can hoist like the Stanley Cup at the end of every game and that you get to house in your trophy case every year.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't have to be full. It could be if you like. But given the college connections, I don't know if we'd be able to pull this off.
I was going to say that's going to be the concern.
We'll fill it with Gatorade and then you can dump it. You know, the celebratory dump.
Yeah, but I
Good
think
solution.
for the Wisconsin I-94 rivalry, Wisconsin-Marquette, the golden beer keg that you get to hoist and keep on campus might be the trophy game. I'm going to run it past some of the powers that be in Marquette and see if we can make it happen. This has been Marquette, Wisconsin College Game Day. Thanks to Alex Gravatt. Thanks to Matt Yeazel. Thanks to our friends at Broken Bat Brewery for hosting us. Network pregame coverage coming up next in Milwaukee. Madison, enjoy the game. Go Marquette.
National Liquor Mart is packed with deals to get you through the winter. During basketball season, remember to stop by National Liquor for all your Marquette pre- and post-game needs. If you're hosting a party and want to impress your guests, stop in to National Liquor where the varieties are endless. They have the cleanest store and the coldest beer. National Liquor Mart, where your satisfaction is their plan of action. National Liquor, open 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. daily on the corner of 16th and National.
ESPN Milwaukee's Jen Latta here. 'Tis the